What do you mean I couldn't be the president of the United States of America? Woody Pizza here. I hope your day is going well. My day's not too bad myself. Today we're going to be doing a story time. Kind of vinyl related. There's a section of this story that pertains to it. But we're going to be talking about how I met a member of this band I really enjoy. I don't really have favorite bands, but I guess if I were to rank these guys, they would be in somewhere in the top 5. But enough of that. Let's get into this story. And today's topic of interest is Mr. David Ellefson, formerly of Megadeth. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of our story here, we're going to have to do a little backtracking. The album that comes into mind that is coming with this story is Peace Sells But Who's Buying, which I bought the copy that I have. I bought it at a fruit stand near Seattle, Washington after a Roger Waters concert of all things. But I went through a solid period where I listened to nothing but that album. And everything from it, from Wake Up Dead to the title track, The Conjuring, Good Morning Black Friday, Bad Omen, everything on it completely blew any sphere of what thrash metal could be, at least in my mind at that point. And it's still my favorite Megadeth record. I know some Rest in Peace purists might hear that and cringe, but oh well, I don't know what to tell you. This is my story. I'm going to fast forward a couple months. I see a billboard that's advertising Scorpions live. And I mean, the Scorpions, they're not really my thing. I mean, they're good, but I don't really feel anything from them. However, what I do notice is the opener, Megadeth. And I instantly, I gotta go to that. I got to see that live. The day of the concert comes, September 29th, 2017, Spokane Arena. And I am amped. I am ready to go. And they go through, Megadeth comes on. It's like an hour-long set. And I'm way in the nosebleeds. Way up there. But I can still feel my bones rattle. And I just, there was something about it. Definites that they played was Peace Sells. Pretty sure they played Wake Up Dead. Holy Wars, Tornado of Souls. And then they ended on the Mechanics. And I went ape shit. Like, absolute ape shit when that came on. Looking back, I wish I got a picture during the Megadeth set, but when you're just so into it, it escapes your mind. I did, however, get a picture during intermission when Scorpions had their big blue banner, and it was in between sets. I got that, but other than that, I didn't really take any pictures of the set. I was just into it. However, in between sets, I got really tired. It tends to happen after a high-speed thrash metal set like that. And the low energy, at least in comparison, that was coming from the Scorpions. Big city nights, more like big city naps. I passed the fuck out. I was gone. I was probably awake for 10 minutes of the Scorpions, and then I lights out. So I don't really remember anything from them. Don't know what to tell you. Anyway, we're going to go fast forward a year. It is now September 2018. At this point, I have gotten word that David Ellefson is doing a solo tour. He's calling it his Bass Tory Tour. It was going to be small venues like your local clubs or bars and very up close and personal. And just like when Megadeth the year before announced that they were opening for Scorpions, oh, yeah, boy, howdy, I jumped on that as fast as I could. The day that the tickets went on sale, bam, there I am at the ticket office. Let's go. finally, September 21st, 2020. No, sorry, I'm used to saying that. September 21st, 2018 arrives, and the venue is called the Roadhouse. It is a small bar out in Spokane Valley, and I got a VIP ticket because I really, really wanted to meet him. And so I go to the backstage area, and David Ellefson's right there, and I have something in my hand. Got a little something. Boom, boom. That copy of Peace Sells, as previously mentioned. And I bring this up to him with a Sharpie, and I ask him, hey, can you please sign this? And so he does. However, that's not the only thing that he signed that day. Give me 1 second. I also pull out my arm. I have him sign my arm, and he asked me, are you going to get that tattooed? And said, you know I am. And so he laughed a little bit. Signed the arm. And then I just, the basic, thank you for your music. Thank you for your contributions to metal as we know it. Just something like that. That's a paraphrase. But then, as soon as my time was up, left the building, and I went to the first tattoo shop I could, which luckily was right across the street. And that's where I met Corey Swanson, who at the time was working at Undead Inc. Not only did my arm get signed by David Ellefson, I got tattooed, but that was actually my first ever tattoo. So, to David and Corey, thank you for taking my tattoo virginity. I greatly appreciate it. After said tattoo, we got back to our regularly scheduled programming, went back to the Roadhouse, and the concert started. It was David and a bunch of local musicians, and they went through the classics. It was really, really cool. It gave a point to showcase the local area's bands as well. And they were playing with David. It was really cool. My point though is he asked for like crowd recommendations, and I remember shouting The Conjuring. Now, for those who don't know, The Conjuring was not played since the early 2000s live due to religious obligations from the band members, David Ellefson included. However, I just threw it out anyway. And he responded with, "You dirty fucking little Satanists." But he went right into the song. And it's really crazy because it was like within that month, Megadeth started performing The Conjuring live again. So, I don't know. But it was really, really cool because I never thought I'd hear that song live, but that's my favorite song off my favorite album from this band. And I don't know, it was really cool just to hear it live. I remember him also taking questions in between each song. I can't remember if I asked him anything, and I can't remember what other people asked, but I definitely remember asking him to play The Conjuring. And it's just, I don't know. It was such a cool, intimate show. And despite what may or may not have happened since that show, it's a memory I like to look fond on, and it's actually not where this story ends. Like, in the grand scope, the story ends there. But years later, I was working out in Nevada, and I was in Reno, and I went to a shop called Discology. little hole in the wall out in downtown Reno, and I'm looking on the wall, and instantly something catches my eye. What we got here is a Megadeth 1988. So far, so good. So what? Look at that signature. We're going to do a little compare and contrast. Let's see if we can get it. Come on. Stop fighting the light. Stop fighting the light. All right. Pretty recognizable. I can't believe it. But in the middle of nowhere, well, in Reno, but just some random record store that I wasn't even really anticipating finding something. I found a So Far So Good So What with Ellison's signature on it too. So it's kind of cool that the story continued over the span of 6 years. It was that concert happened in 2018, and then I got that So Far So Good So What last November. So 6 years and 2 months. But anyway, that's my story. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any cool stories of David Ellefson or Megadeth in general, or just cool stories in general, hit them up in the comments. Thank you again for sticking around, and hope you have a great day. Thanks for the pepperoni. Peace. Bye.